Okay, so I'm back in this dollar yen, and I left the 4 hour chart going with the RSI, and there was a big, like a 7 period signal here on RSI. It's not the ideal signal length. So you have, here you have 0 is your first count. I'm sorry, 0 is here. So 0, then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just one bar outside of the ultimate, 2 and 5 period is the best. So if a market can really take off and it can get that going, so here you have more oversold, a higher price, and you can draw your trend line, and this should hold this trend. Another problem with moving averages is they don't project out into space. At least the Andrews pitchfork, as fantastical as it may be and unreal, is kind of dream worthy. This is the middle of the pitchfork. It doesn't always, right? And then it could just, the market could literally blast through that. And what is, so each tool has its own little niche of usage. And when people say, so there's this guy in Britain that we used to talk to on Skype, and he had what we call a Christmas tree. He had he had 30 moving averages, he had 30 indexes, and it was all color-coded, and he wrote it all himself. And because he could write that code, he felt necessary to, like a gay guy would feel necessary to bling out his apartment once he found out how to do his own wallpaper. Oh gosh, the wallpaper every room. Wallpapered the cat. So that's just how it goes, And so you are kind of stuck with yourself when you're trading, unless you have somebody to blame it on. This is why you might want to get married to somebody and say, yeah, she, Your Honor, she overtraded my account. And then she'd say, well, you told me to put all those orders in there. You said just put all those orders. In other words, plus, think about the less pressure. So I know this Ranko Hans guy feels a lot of pressure about trading. That's why he's really stuck on demo versus real, because he feels so much pressure to succeed in the trading realm. And to prove something, I don't know how he's able to just have one subscriber. I mean, that's incredible. You think that somebody would just stumble across him and go, I'll give this poor slob a try. He's got one subscriber. So I don't know what that even says. Maybe he's figured out how to go off the grid like nobody else. Gosh, I think even if you put yourself out there randomly, I think you'd pick up somebody. So yeah, market looks like it's closed right now. Asia's amazing. And look at this drift, and we're just going to keep crushing north. Yes, it's overbought. Yeah, there's divergence on RSI. And this is also when people say the best pattern to trade is the failure of the pattern. Well, what do I trade? The pattern or the failure of the pattern? And that's when you kind of feel like you're being scammed, because it's like, well, if the guy can't tell me when I should trade a real divergence and when I should fade a divergence, and people would make the argument that the reason why you can fade it is because the big boys are making it diverge. I mean, it's hysterical that they're tricking you by pushing the market around, because they know how an MACD of 26.12.9 is going to respond to their manipulation. Therefore, I mean, you can only imagine, right? Take the flat earth approach to trading, which is about half of what you see out there is based on trying to fix the flat earth. It's like, oh yeah, well, if they're going to, so if the 20 EMA is what the institutional guys use, and you're using that, then you're on the side of the smart money. I mean, it's hysterical. It's almost like saying there's only one time to get in and one time to get out of the market. So if the market's in an uptrend, are you in it for 3.5 months or 3.5 hours? And in between those two extremes, could you be in for 10 hours? Could you be in for 10 minutes? Could you be in the market for, and of course, if you put in a 3-pip stop and a 3-pip take profit, you probably will be in the market for under 15 minutes. I mean, I have seen markets do nothing for 15 minutes. I see markets trade in a 5-pip range for an hour in Asia. I mean, it's like, Jesus, really? And if you have a take profit that's 6 pips and it's ranging in a 5-pip range and you're in a big position, that might affect you. So the size of this position from 0 being demo to having, so here's the levels of stress that Renko feels. You don't trade. No stress. But there is stress in not trading if you feel like you're missing out on something. And if that pain is greater than being on the sidelines waiting to get filled, or being on the sidelines or being in a position and waiting for the take profits. So from 0 stress, like I said, it might be stressful not to be trading. Then you're in the demo. You're risking your ego. You're not really risking any money. Then you put $200 in a real account and you don't trade it. Now that's stressful, but you're not in any risk. So the potential to pull the trigger and pulling the trigger, because supposedly the better you get at trading, the better your trades would be. Therefore, it only makes sense to trade more because, well, now you're good at it. Just like playing guitar. I think I'll just play a bunch of songs. Well, but there's no music being played. The market doesn't, it only has like 2 crescendos, two choruses a day. You have the rollover into US. So you have if it's going to be one move and it has to get there and it's just going to climb or drift down or smack down into tomorrow's open. So you're 24 hours away right now. 12 hours away right now from when things will be getting frantic. And tomorrow's Wednesday, so what possible scenarios could you have here on just this dollar yen? And is it better to trade a high probability, what you think is high probability? And then, of course, then you're going to put more on that position because you think it's so high probable. And this is why you don't want to use Fibonacci, because it's going to make the probability seem higher than it really is. I just watched another Fibonacci video and it just cracks me up every time. Not one of these guys says, well, because it's a fib, and because I have a golden cross, and because I have Renko, and because I have Akanashi, and even my Tankanashi is telling me to buy, that I'm going to bet the fucking ranch on one ticket with a big wide stop. Well, think about that. After all that shit's aligned, after all the stars are aligned with your Renkos and your point and figure charts and your trend lines, your RSI 2 period, you got the monthly, you got the dollar index on another big screen on the other side of the room. Does this mean you're putting on some monster position? And this is like the big one. I'm never going to trade after this trade. Oof. No more getting up at 3 a.m. to worry about the fucking position I'm in or the scalp that I want to do. I don't think there's any harder job in the world than trading. I mean, people so crack me up with that. Well, you can just be your own boss. I mean, listen to the sales pitch from that prop house. Well, this guy can do whatever he wants now. Really? He's got to keep... Dude, it's not like a hit song. Even a musician has it better off than a trader. A musician writes a really cool song, and he sells the rights to it, and it becomes a Coca-Cola ad, and he's just making bank from that. One trade. And the extension of that thing's enormous. Whereas if you trade, if you had to trade, if you had to trade like that, would you stop trading? If you kept trading through that, you're working. If you made 40 grand last month, did you I mean, I don't get it. What is your lifestyle? You know, people that can blow $500 a month or $1,000 a month on trading and not have it affect their lifestyle, or maybe they don't eat so much fancy food and they decide they're going to risk some money in the market or whatever. They want to keep everything steady as it was before they traded. Well, in other words, just to reduce your pain feeling. And the worst thing is the not knowing. How is it I've read all these books and I still don't know where the market's going to go in the next 40 milliseconds? How come I can't predict the next 40 milliseconds, but I want to predict the next 40 hours? What on God's green earth, how do people ever get so fucking egotistical and just visionary to want to, or even feel they need to guess that, which is astounding to think that you can make money without knowing what's going to happen next. It sounds inconceivable, but if you have your orders set, prepared to take advantage of what could possibly happen, then you're all set. And if it's a marketplace like a store in the mall or in the downtown district, if your stuff is at the right price and it's unique, then if it's a unique price and it's a unique, and then there's rush hour. So yeah, you would get picked up in something, and then you would just get, so there's like a sympathy move. Say you were in, so if I was in the soybean market and corn had a bad report, and since I'm in the grains kind of move in concert. Just like you could say about the pairs that versus the dollar. And, make a synthetic index, which this guy in Britain had done with all his Christmas tree indicators. He made synthetic indexes. He thought it was amazing. And without he also wanted me to make a script that had a infinite take profit. So I did. I edited that for him. I took out, he goes, how do you make it so it just goes on forever? Mind you, here's a guy that was up 400 pips on the guppy in 4 days, and everybody was telling him, you probably want to lighten that position up. And he said, absolutely not. I'm going to move my stop, so I'm only risking 10 pips. And he got stopped out of that like in 3 days. And he laughed. Now this guy's, I don't know if he was lying, but he just thought he was like, whatever. And he's the guy that I heard the term prop house from. I didn't even know what a prop house was. I thought it was like a whorehouse. He says, well, I think I'm just going to join a prop firm or something. And I thought, oh God, you mean like they prop stuff up, like cutouts and stuff? What kind of props? You mean for a party? One of those party stores, Halloween party stores they have in the strip malls? What the hell is he talking about? And, oh my God, don't do that. I thought, man, that's like human trafficking. You don't get involved in that. But, yeah, it's amazing. And it's really, I guess trading is so dry that this is why people are putting great pastel clouds on there. The cloud traders. It's the ultimate in fantasy. It kind of reminds me of you need some sake with that, and some geisha girls to trade that system. But yeah, this is the indicator this guy's asking about. It's just called bar. It's in the link under indicators in the bottom of this video. I have versions of bar here. I have bar bias, Now bar bias is colored. And this way, right now I've got the 1 period moving average on top of it. And I just like it nice and clean. It gives me the structure and it gives me the range. And it's fat. So if I zoom out, you just see what people call order blocks, or that people just call big range areas. They just pop out at you. So you go to the weekly. Here we're crushing into the top of the top of the year, right? So going after the high of the year right now. Here's the end of the year, and you could make all sorts of. They have that contest, I think, where you make a call for the end of the market on the Dow Jones, what it'll come out in. So I like to draw the trend line on close because I get this perfect double bottom with a little bit of a, not the best. Here's your RSI signals. Anytime RSI goes below, this is a 3 period. So this is the inversion, more oversold, higher price. And all we got to do is cut this thing, and I'll be selling up here all next week. So who's not going to sell on the 100-yard line? So even the guys that claim, but there's about a 10 pip window above and below, so you're risking, you got about a 20 pip window there. So your 20 pip window right around the 100-yard line. But here, the breakout traders win like nobody's business here on the weekly. Nice double top, last sell, triple divergence here, perfect. And this is a this is quadruple divergence here, and this is just so tight. And this is called hidden divergence because it's happening inside of. So if you put a trend line here, it's pretty thick. This is a failure of this reversal here. So if you're looking at this long-legged reversal, this is the cells that come in, but it's the rating of this 80 pip window that is the trick on the weekly. So this is ripe. Now it's time to start selling. Sell, 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 sell. Obviously. The trick is how big and how many tickets, how far. Ideally, your tickets are 5 pips apart, and some of these orders last. So you're going to put an 8-hour, 12-hour, daily, weekly. And as the market comes into your orders, if you're not already long, you're going to be looking for it to come in, come back, cash out of the scalp. So you're always looking for the scalp to pay the rent for the. You got to have your 20 pip and your 10 pip scalps, your 20s. And this is a lot of work here. Scalping is a lot of work. Very nice cuts through this space. Bam. 100 pips on the weekly. And now we're just starting to breach this area. What could possibly go wrong for the bears? But yeah, this is definitely right. So stacking up your orders. And I did write some $10 stops here, $10 drops. I'm going to risk 30 pips to make 80 here. This is 100 pips I'm risking here to make 100. Oops, sorry, that's the buy. Fucked that up. So this buy drop, would you buy here tomorrow? Yes. No questions asked. It's a pretty easy trade. So would you buy low? And is there a fib? There's probably a fib in there. I just think it's funny that, okay, so I'm risking $40 there. How is that not a good trade? Somebody please explain to me. I'm buying on pullbacks. I'm buying info fib, infinity fib, infinity fib. Buying every. It's just so ridiculous. I mean, can't anybody see the fallacy of the fib? You're winning because you put a stop in. You're winning because you're buying on a pullback. You're winning because you're placing the trade. I mean, it's just incredible. You're winning because you're not over trading. You're winning because you trade big when the market says trade big. You're scalping when you need to scalp. You swing when you need to swing. If you really want to make money trading, you're going to trade. You're going to work. And you're going to, take the, I suppose, the risk per trade. And your ego and your, but getting all serious about it is like the worst thing you could do. I don't think you'd play guitar that way. Although people have. I know a guy who built his own Martin guitar. He can't play worth shit. He built his own Martin out of a kit. And I get it, right? He's not a real musician. He's a guy that is a music enthusiast. And it's not like he's playing guitar. It's almost like the building of the guitar is so important that playing it's not even. And so trading could be completely different for every person if we weren't all. The problem with all the stuff on the internet and stuff I was watching, this Ward 3 stuff, cracking me up, where they go the monthly, they have fibs, they talk about trade blocks, the whole thing. They never talk about one trade. They never talk about anything. When did they put the trade on? Can you please show us even the demo version of this thing? Why aren't they trading in demo to prove that it works? Or run a strategy tester or describe it as it's coming at you in strategy testers. In other words, I'd love to take one of these guys and say, okay, here, bring up strategy tester there. I'm loaded up and I'm not going to tell you. I'll block off the time frame. So unless you've memorized every fucking 5-minute chart for the past 10 years, let's see how you do. Can you think on your feet? Can you handle a situation as it's coming at you? Can you detach from your Tenkanashis and your Hakanashis? Can you just look at the raw data and make a decision? Pretty tough. Disorientating if you've orientated yourself to MACD, stochastics, all this bullshit, RSI. In a way, it's bullshit, but if you know how to run it, it's like special effects. If you know how to play with delay on your guitar and you play in sync with it, or maybe you're doing it in such a way that it sounds really nice because you're slightly off, so it's syncopated. But all this stuff you could do, but it's just the problem is you're trading money. You're looking at your balance the whole time and you're making assessments whether or not you're a good trader. I'm assuming that people like this Ranko guy, because for him it's all about the money. He doesn't understand, like, how to write a song. You wouldn't think, oh, I'm going to write a song, make money. No, you're thinking, I want to write a compelling song that tells a story. And then, because if you're thinking about the outcome as you're entering it, then there's too much weight on the success factor. And it's not bad to think like that, but the problem is if you're going to trade 40 trades a week, then you can't have that much stress. Better to let it be. Better to let things be kind of just like getting a glass of water. Putting a trade should be like getting a glass of water. You know, yeah, a little thirsty here, or just having some water around, take a sip. Because nothing really big's going to happen until the news comes out. I mean, volatility-wise. If the market's just drifting around and you're like, okay, well, let's get in here and get out there and get in, get out. Just get in and get out. Get in, get out, but don't be freaking out about it. That's why if you trade a 1K and you're going to trade a 10K per hour in total, that's 10 button presses. And if you wrote a script that says I got a 4.5 pip stop to make 8 pips, and I can see, oh, here, babysit the market, pull the trigger, which is a lot of work. Why would you just throw pennings in? I'm sure a lot of people trade at the market or on stop entry. I don't know. I wonder what the statistics are. Retail traders, I don't know. I mean, the idea that the retail trader and 90% of retail traders lose. You know, I mean, 90% of people that buy a guitar can't fucking play it. Nothing that people that can play guitar may have only played it for a year. They sound amazing. People that just don't like the sound of a guitar enough to, I guess, play it well. I don't even know what it's keeping them from making it sound good, but probably a combination of stuff, but they're just never going to be a guitarist. And a lot of people are attracted to the trading thing because they think it's like money. Whereas, I guess it's sex if you're going to play guitar. Guys would play guitars to have women. That's a typical motivation. And short circuit the money. Whether the guy that's going to trade Forex is going to get a bunch of money and then he's going to hang out at the usual places where people that girls, I guess gold diggers or whatever have you, going to hook up. So, it depends what your motivation is. I don't know really who, I suppose the whole spectrum exists. There's people that they don't want to do their normal day job. They want to trade all day for a living. Well, you still have to schedule you still have to have some kind of plan. So if you're working for somebody else, then it's a luxury because you don't have to direct it. If somebody tells you to do something and you fuck it up, you can blame them. Well, you told me to do it. Whereas if you're all by yourself and you're trading and you make the rules, as Mark Douglas says, if you're the one making the rules, now you got to follow your own rules. But if you're not a guy that follows rules, then you're probably like, my rules suck too. Or you would just resent the whole idea of rules to the point where even your own rules, well, that'd be ridiculous. It's like saying, well, I'm just going to make my life, instead of getting married, I'll just become miserable. I'll just do miserable things. So I'll replicate that same misery or something. Or whatever you want to have the pain to feel alive. This is why people cut themselves. So, yeah, the market can be really a great escape from normal life also. But I think in the back of most people's minds, even if they're trading, they want to tell people or themselves, I'm doing this for money. And that's true. But how can you relax and enjoy trading in the way the market's moving and the way it's moving against you and the way it's moving for you? So is the market moving against you? Well, only because you're in it. So unfortunately, it's a Zen kind of thing because it only is what it is the way you relate to it, how you're involved with it. So when these guys in power trading would say, we're going to get involved in this trade, and I thought, wow, that's a big deal. So there's so much weight on it. I still can't get this Renko guy to make a market call because he's so afraid of being wrong and being embarrassed. I just don't see why people just don't say, hey, get in here, there's my stop. And even if they don't tell us what size it is, I don't know why they don't talk about the trading. It's always about, just ridiculous stuff. But, if you think the 100 pip handle works, you can see that the market moves around that, but it can move 40 pips through it. And you could say a million things about the market, and all of them are true at some point in time. And to even test these things is so difficult because you have to pick the time frame. You got to pick the size. You got to pick the frequency. You got to pick the broker, because if you're trading with an 8-pip stop, now it's really going to matter what instrument you're trading and how tight your spread is from your broker. If you're going to trade with a 100-pip stop on the weekly charts, but there's not enough data, there's really not enough history. Now, if there was 1,000 years of history on Forex, maybe you could build some robot that could withstand. It's like, okay, well, this thing, it goes through a 3-year drawdown, but then it comes back. All robots, all singular thinking robots will get crushed. All singular strategy will get crushed in these markets. Just look at this chart. There's nothing consistently happening here. So they'd say, well, your goal is to become a consistently winning trader. Well, that means you'd have to have 10 trade plans to consistently, in a low effort way, consistently win. To consistently win with one single strategy, wow. Okay, the only way to do that is to scale out of that trade. It's supposed to be a great entry. It's a perfect Fibonacci entrance. It's got, okay, so imagine 20 things line up. You got 13 EMA, Elder Alexander Elder's 13 EMA. You got MACD stochastics, RSI. You got the ADX, volume confirming. Even level 2 bullshit. Then you got your cloud, your Renko, your point and figure. It's all looking great. You've even got the horoscopes matching, the Hurst cycles. Fibonacci time is on the 8 and 13. It's unbelievable trade. It's hilarious. People rating trades. I give this trade a 5. Dude, the one you didn't take was fucking the biggest winner in the world. Well, I know. I didn't rate anything on my jury. How are people... what the fuck is wrong with people? I guess this is just the way people think this is how you fix a problem. So imagine, it's like they think you're fixing your car. Well, I got a second opinion, and this guy says he thinks it's the transmission. And I can feel it slipping. So, I mean, this is the way people are approaching this. Well, that guy say he's buying too, and he's a big trader. And then, but where is he getting in? He's not announcing it. He's not saying, well, I get in here, I go stop, sure. Okay, he's doing, and then like, is he consistently winning? Is he 5 trades a year this guy does? Oh, 5 trades. I used to get this newsletter and I thought, really? I used to get like a penny stock thing and I thought, okay, I like that chart. I used to go, my favorite thing was to get the Investors Business Daily, and in the back they had pure charts, bar charts. And I just go, ooh, I like that one. It's just destroyed. Look at that fucking thing. And to me, I just buy a complete loser. Because it's a discount. And there was this thing about stocks over $10. I couldn't figure this shit out. Well, if the stock goes, my dad was telling me, well, the stock goes above $10, you know. People are interested in that. I go, oh my God, where were they when it was at $1? I mean, they could have made 10 times their fucking money. I mean, my first thought was, how fucking retarded are these people? Well, it gets above 100. A lot of people want it now. Yeah, but dude, it's costing you, unless you're buying that on margin. Are you nuts? So, I don't know. Anyways, that's my rant for the day. Go back to the boring trading.